NAVILLERA, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be reacting to a new girl group today. I believe that this is their debut. This is NAVILLERA with No Limit. So let's go ahead and see what this is all about. Ooh, I like that background vocal and the instruments. Okay. I really like this pre-chorus. Oh, interesting change. Okay, so I feel like there's a lot to talk about in this particular song. From what I see a group that has potential, okay? And I think this is less of a them problem as far as like the group and more of a company problem. So I want to set that aside. I felt like let's talk about the MV first. I felt like the MV felt very like a performance video. And while performance videos I do think work, they have to be of high quality production, especially if you're going to go for a debut song. So I definitely think that that was one of the things that I noticed could be an issue, especially when you are releasing a K-pop song. The quality of that K-pop debut and MV is just, there's an expectation, and regardless of the company that you're in, that expectation is always going to be there. So, and I feel like, you know, the more and more that K-pop gets bigger and really, you know, expands upon itself and, you know, goes global, the higher that expectation gets for everyone, for all groups, right? So that's the first thing that I think needs to be worked on, is the fact that I have no problems that this was more of like a performance MV. But for a debut, I would really hope that they would spend a little more time on that and they would really take into consideration what they're working with. The girls themselves, I thought they did a pretty good job. I was interested by the song itself. I don't think the song really did them any justice. From what I could hear vocally, they actually are quite good singers, and I'm not a huge fan of rap, so I can't really speak upon their rap, but I mean, I didn't mind certain aspects of the rap. So when we're looking at the form of the song, you know, verse 1, it felt a little more like speak-talking rather than rap, which was a little strange to me. I liked the pre-chorus instrumental. I thought it was really interesting, and I liked the singing throughout that. For the chorus, We Run This Town, No Limit, the chorus itself, I think one of the reasons the whole song itself felt a little off is it felt a little dated. So it felt like this is something that would have been done several years ago, maybe even upwards like 5 years ago or more. And so I felt like for a debut song, it just needed more care to it. So it's not that in itself it's necessarily a bad song. I just think that it didn't really match like with what's going on in today. I didn't mind there being a dance break. After that, I thought it was kind of nice that it broke it up. And then in verse 2, we started with rap. Again, that pre-chorus came in, but it was really nice. And then, in the rap instead, the second, singing for the second half of the pre-chorus, they did a rap again. From what I could see from the choreography, it seemed pretty simple. I mean, I'm not a huge expert on choreography, but, you know, that's what I would say just from my, you know, limited knowledge on choreography. You guys have to correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed pretty simple. But it did look clean, and that's something that I really liked about it. And it seemed like they had a little dance break again, which again, I was like, oh, 2 dance breaks, that's kind of nice. And then bridge, I felt was interesting how they had the rap and the vocals, but I really liked the way that they went about it because it gave it like a different feel. But then in the chorus, I thought that last chorus, they had kind of like a call-in kind of response kind of thing going on, but it was just talking. And those are the kind of things that I feel are kind of like unnecessary, like the group, like commenting on something. It has to be done in a really specific way for it to be successful. But again, I think that the group has a lot of potential. So I hope that the company will take this into consideration and they'll go back to the drawing board and they'll, you know, do something that is a little more high quality. They'll really think about that before they do this, because I think the girls themselves have a lot of possibility. And so I'm really curious to see what they will do next. I'm from what I saw, they're from a very, very small company. So I understand that their budget might be limited, but I would suggest looking into other groups that are from smaller companies and seeing what they do as far as when they prepare for a debut or when they prepare themselves. I think that really, like I said, the standard of K-pop and the quality that has to come out, there's just, it's to be expected now, right? People are really expecting, have a high expectation for what they see. And I think, unfortunately, this does not live up to those expectations, but it doesn't mean that I don't think that they can't get there. So I really, really hope that they work a little more on this. I really, like I said, I think the girls have a ton of potential. I really look forward to seeing like what they do next. But tell me what you guys think down below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What was your favorite part in this particular song? And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.